Hello dear friends, let's talk about problems of Audi A6 C6. Due to technical progress, the Audi A6 has more or less serious errors. Most of them relate to engines. As in other modern constructions, diesel versions have the most problems. The Audi A6 C6 is presented as a reliable car. Of course, it depends on the mode of use and the mileage. The mileage indicators themselves hide many pitfalls. The mileage returned. If the chain is traditionally placed in front of the engine, replacement will be relatively simple. But Audi on some engines put a chain on the back of the engine to the gearbox, so to get to the chain, the engine must be removed. Some ignore the noise of the chain, claiming that it is normal. Yes, the sound of the chain is normal, but an experienced mechanic will assess whether it has already become too loud. If you skip the chain up to 2 teeth, it can damage the valve. The problem was solved with facelifting in 2008. Audi A6 C6 petrol engines require lower servicing costs. In the case of FSI motors, there are frequent problems with coils, thermostats, and sometimes with the intake manifold. 2.0 TFSI has complex equipment. The simplest is a 2 and 4 liter V6 without a direct injection system. The 3.2 FSI and 4.2 FSI engines have problems with the drive chains. Audi A6 C6 direct injection petrol engines, such as the C6 A6 2.8 FSI, 3.2 FSI and 4.2 FSI, are prone to accumulating soot on the intake valves. Symptoms of carbon deposits on the intake valves include difficulty starting the vehicle, difficult starting, lack of ignition, and engine fault codes related to lack of ignition and poor engine performance. Potentially deposited soot can damage the catalytic converter or engine turbine. If the 2.0 and 3.2 liter petrol engines run rough when starting a cold engine, they will not start and are activated. Check engine lamp. There is a problem with the hydraulic adjustment of the valve. Oil has leaked. The elements of the hydraulic adjustment of the valve must be replaced. 2.0 The petrol engine has problems with the wings in the intake manifold. The drive chains of the Audi A6 3.2 V6 petrol engine cannot survive the long life oil change service mode. It is smarter to switch to an oil change interval of 15,000 kilometers. In the case of the Audi A6 with a 3.2 V6 petrol engine, the sealing plugs in the cylinder head can fall out and cause an oil leak. To solve, old plugs need to be removed and modified plugs installed. Oil leaks can occur on the upper covers of the drive chain, requiring new sealing. For diesel engines in the Audi A6 with common rail injection, mainly 2.0 TDI and 3.0 TDI, a porous EGR valve cooler occurs, leading to a gradual penetration of coolant into the intake. Ignoring this problem can possibly damage the DPF filter, which is already significantly more expensive to repair. With more mileage, problems with injectors can be expected, which is manifested by increased noise, uneven operation, and also a decrease in engine power. In turbochargers, there is sometimes a problem with non-functioning wing regulation. Audi leaves no doubts as to the durability of the diesel. If you replace what you have to replace, even for big money, you can drive almost indefinitely. It is not uncommon for a 2.0 TDI to cover 500,000 kilometers as a taxi in 4 or 5 years and still serve well. However, in light of the upcoming high costs, many people simply sell their cars for little money. Floating flywheel problems are a common problem with diesels. The 2.0 TDI engine from the start of production of the Audi A6 C6 has a nozzle pump injection system. These engines do not enjoy a good reputation. They have problems with the EGR valve, fuel pump and oil pump drive that can lead to major engine failures. There are also problems with injectors and floating flywheel. The worst thing that can happen in this unit is the shooting of the engine head, and unfortunately there are no isolated cases. 2008, the 2.0 TDI engine transitioned to a more modern common rail injection system. Note that the 140 HP and 170 HP versions have many structural differences. The most important of these, the more powerful motor uses piezoelectric injectors that cannot be repaired. Audi A6 2.0 TDI engine vibration symptoms after 50,000 kilometers. The problem can be caused by melted injector seals due to the use of the wrong fuel. The first 2.0 TDI PD 140 HP and PD 170 HP with balanced shaft have chains to drive the oil pump, and the chain can break or stretch and fall out. It is later switched to a hexagonal shaft as an oil pump drive, which is also a problem. The tops of the hexagonal shaft are eaten away. Loss of oil pump drive completely destroys the engine. The oil pump uses a hexagonal shaft as the drive with balanced shaft. The life of both solutions is about 100,000 to 250,000 kilometers. Therefore, it is necessary to replace the oil pump set preventively at least every 100 kilometers. All VAG models with the 2.0 TDI engine throughout 2005 equipped with Siemens piezo injectors are subject to recall, which involves the replacement of all. A short circuit in the injector causes the fuel system to shut down. Revocation to replace Siemens piezoelectric injectors 2006-2009 2.0 TDI engines. All 2.0 TDI PD motors using piezoelectric Siemens injectors and Siemens ECU motors are affected by this problem. The first 2.0 TDI 140 HP and 170 HP in the said engine mixes oil and fuel due to the failure of the tandem pump. The Audi A6 2.0 TDI PD engine may have a worn turbocharger problem. Higher oil consumption, whistling sound. Functioning of the DPF filter with the 2.0 TDI engine is not the most reliable and often leads to blockage of the filter, especially when it is often driven on shorter distances. Incomplete regeneration of the DPF filter can cause the oil level to rise. At higher mileages, about 250,000 kilometers or more, there may be problems with the injectors, which is manifested by rough operation of the engine or poor start of a particularly cold engine. Very often there is an increased consumption of diesel fuel. Sometimes there is a problem with a faulty fuel pump in the tank, which causes problems with starting or the vehicle will not start. NA 2.7 TDI V6 diesel engines have a problem with the intake air intake valves. 3.0 TDI V6 Quattro water pump failures and also prone to losing coolant when cooling EGR valves. 3.0 TDI with 233 HP. After about 150,000 kilometers, there are problems with the upper chain tensioner. Audi engineers have put a chain on the side of the gearbox, so to get to the belt, it is necessary to remove the engine. Some owners ignore the noise of the chain, claiming that it is normal. In advanced cases, where the noise is too loud, it is possible for the chain to skip a pair of teeth, which can lead to valve damage. After restyling, in 2008, the problem with the tensioner was solved. A typical problem of all modern diesel, including Audi, is the failure of the turbocharger. There are also problems with the EGR valve, which manifests itself in the form of reduced readiness for the engine to accelerate smoothly. 3.0 TDI engine issue with inlet valves. In the case of an Audi diesel drive with a manual transmission, there are frequent failures of the floating flywheel. Elimination of the problem requires the replacement of the entire clutch and the flywheel, which represents a significant cost. In an elevated station wagon, Audi A6 Allroad, there is a failure of the air suspension, which brings high repair costs. Rapid wear of the rubber elements of the lower trap. Software upgrades can be a solution to an electronic parking brake problem that refuses to operate. The electronic parking brake can also cause problems due to corrosion of the servomotor cable, connections of malfunctions on one of the rear wheels. Audi A6 Caravans can penetrate the washer fluid into the MMI unit located in the trunk. The airbag can be activated late. In the event of an accident involving the front airbags, it is possible that the airbags are deployed too late. Vehicles with these problems have been recalled and the ECU airbag has been updated. The recall was also due to problems with not activating the air curtains. The fuel gauge may indicate that the tank is empty, even when the tank is full. Most likely, the installation of new software is required. Frequent failures of ventilation and air conditioning systems. Be sure when you buy that all functions work with ventilation and cooling. The air conditioning cannot cool down enough and/or the temperature reading is incorrect. This may be due to poor contacts or a faulty outdoor temperature sensor. The coolant level light on the Audi A6 can illuminate in cold temperatures even when the engine is warm. This may be due to a faulty sensor in the coolant tank. Remote locking sometimes does not unlock the door due to problems with the door models. This can be solved by reprogramming the door model. In the first years of production of the Audi A6, the keyless engine starting system had problems. The start button did not respond, because the vehicle did not detect the presence in the cabin of the remote control. The seal of the pollen filter may fail, causing water to leak into the cabin into the legroom.